Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Josh. Welcome back to another toy review, and today we're here to take a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem Rocksteady. So, of course, like I said last time at the end of my, not the last toy review, but the one before it, when I was taking a look at Bebop, uh, you can't really buy, one guy without the other. You know what I mean? I mean, without Bebop and Rocksteady, it's like a catastrophe. You know what I mean? It's like, why? It's like when you buy a Toka, right? You need a Rawzar too as well. So, finally, now we're gonna take a look at his other partner in crime, of course, based on the new TMNT film. Like I said, the last time that we really saw these guys, in movie form was back in 2016 with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. That was like the last time, like cinematically, where we saw Bebop and Rocksteady. They did, appear. They were not appear, but they were definitely around throughout I want to say like 2 or 3 seasons around in the Nickelodeon TMNT show. Because the thing is, we in that show in particular, we did saw Bebop and Rocksteady before their mutation, so at least that's kind of interesting. So it's cool to see him kind of make a return in this sort of weird, abstract, sort of like cartoony way. If that makes sense, because I mean, where do we even start with these designs? Like, wow. But you know what? Before I get into it, though, let's just talk a little bit about the card back. So, of course, as always, when you go out and buy the figures, they always come in these sort of. I think they're called card backs. I'm not sure. That's what I've been calling them for a while. So it is what it is. This is how they look. Like I mentioned, when you buy any other character that is not the Turtles, you get all four of them here in the front. And of course, we got the back showing off the other figures during the first wave. And then we got Rocksteady's profile pic right here. As you can see here, I mean, look at the design, like the drawings and stuff like that. I mean, you could definitely see a lot within the character. I mean, you do see it a lot with like Superfly. I mean, you can see how grotesque that looks. I'm just saying the art style for this film is very interesting. So it's always cool to kind of see them in toy form, even if they do look like pretty goofy. I mean, I don't know. It's very debatable as to like how goofy they are. Because if I were to talk about how I felt about each of the characters' designs in this film, I would say I'm somewhere between like Rocksteady and like Leatherhead having the most like bizarre design, modification. Don't get me wrong, there's also other characters too. Like Genghis for an example. Holy crap. I can't wait for that figure to come out, but unfortunately that's not gonna come out for a while because that's in wave 2. And of course this figure came out in wave 1. So before I kind of go over the painting and the sculpting, one thing I want to mention, when you see this guy in stores in the packaging, you will notice that the arm actually does come unattached, and you need to attach it as soon as you kind of open the figure. And I mean yeah, from the box, whatever. Obviously because of the way he looks, he's all packaged kind of like so oddly, and there was like no room for his other arm. It actually comes separate, and you need to kind of attach it together, which I thought was pretty interesting. I can't really think of the last time they did that with a TMNT figure. I want to say maybe the 2012 Leatherhead version. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the tail was definitely a separate piece that you needed to connect. So I just thought I kind of mentioned that because when you first attach the arm, it is a little bit tricky. You get like that weird feeling that if you're not careful, you might end up breaking something. But luckily, that has not been the issue so far. So that's great. Honestly, I mean, I'm playing around with this figure, and it feels so weird. He has such a ginormous head. Like, look at him when he just stares straight at you with that very, very dead expression. I don't even know what this is. I think these are just the wrinkles from his face. Because for the most part, the detail is pretty much down very nicely. He even got the nice little gold tooth going on, which is kind of a neat little compliment, especially with Bebop, where he has the golden nose ring, so that's pretty cool. I like that little contrast with the characters. And did I forgot to mention that he's voiced by John Cena? I loved like the one of the trailers, or for one of the like the previews talking about the characters. They were both together. Bebop was like, "Oh, what you looking at, Punk?" And then Roxanne's like, "Yeah, bro, what you looking at?" With that deep voice or so. The reason I wanted to mention that because in the cartoon and Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, John Cena, he played as the main bad guy, Baron Draxum. So it's good to see him kind of stick around in the TMNT franchise, even though Rise of TMNT unfortunately didn't last so long. And I am very sorry. I do realize that I talk about that show a lot, but the designs definitely do remind me a little bit of that show. And that's the thing too. I feel like I have this weird need to fix my camera so much because I can't help but just go over the sizing. Like he feels super tiny, and I don't know if it's because of the design or the size of the figure. I mean, I'll do the size comparison at the end, but just to kind of give you an idea, you can see how tiny he is compared to the turtles, and obviously he's supposed to be a big, huge, bulking guy. I can understand due to like the issues with like the packaging and all that, but at the same time, it does feel really weird. And this is not the first time, nor will it be the last time we've gotten characters that have like very weird, questionable stuff going on with their sizing and all that. So yeah, he does get hit pretty hard with it, and unfortunately, he's the one that definitely suffers the most. Then again, there are the figures from Wave 2. I know with like Genghis, Wingnut and Scumbug, I know that it's kind of slightly debatable how they are. You need to have those figures on hand to do a slight comparison. So obviously, we're definitely not done taking a look at the figures for sure. So now that I kind of got that out of the way, let's talk a little bit more about like at least the sculpting, because I do love the textures within his skin, because he's a rhino. Obviously, he has that kind of like rough, tough kind of deal going on. So if I kind of zoom in a little bit. Oh, wow, my camera is much more brighter than usual. There you go, perfect. There you go. So you could kind of see the nice detailing within his texture, because, it's all nice and bumpy and, nice good range of movement. You got I mean, I don't know. Hold up, wait a minute. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I don't know if this is meant to be like tattoos or just hair. The way that it's just kind of sort of slanted on there, I don't know. I mean, that has to be like a design choice. Maybe it is hair. I'm not sure. He also got this kind of weird thing going on. I don't know if that's like one long string of hair. I have no idea. It kind of reminds me of like the 2012 Rocksteady a little bit, because he has some interesting things going on in his hand. I'll go over that towards the end of the video. And of course, we got his hands, which, like, whoa, oof, it'll look rough. I mean, I like how it kind of gives the implication that if he punches someone, you can only imagine, like, how much power that has to be. It's that interesting for sure of a design. Of course, same thing on this side. You got that weird detailing going on. Like I say, I don't know if that's supposed to be hair or, like, messed up tattoos. I don't know. Because I know Bebop had a tattoo that said wow, but then if you turn them upside down, it actually says mom, so that's funny. And look at that, the gold tooth is also on the other side, so that's great. I do like the horn. I like how it's like his my god, the body, he's like it's all just like stretched out. I can only imagine. The articulation I'll go over in a little bit. We do need to talk a little bit more about the bottom part. I love the military like pants he got going on. Very like a very Rocksteady thing. For the most part, I'm pretty sure pretty much all, like almost all the versions of Rocksteady I think had like camouflage pants. So that's good that they kind of kept that trope. Of course, we got the boots. Just one kind of like very dark brown kind of color, somewhere between like a mix of a black and a brown. Got that dark chocolate motif basically. That's kind of what it looks like a little bit. Bottom part right here, got the gut. He got the big fat gut. Whose is worse, Bebop's or Rocksteady's? I don't know, but either way, they both got to go on a diet. Now, so far, already sculpting. I mean, it's good. It looks great for the character for the most part, and I figure that to a certain degree, I get this weird feeling that his snout is supposed to be maybe slightly longer just by looking at the artwork, but luckily they didn't went too far, because that would have been very weird. I'm very surprised that this figure doesn't have any balance issues either. Like, the way that they sculpted it and all that, it's actually quite good. I had a lot of issues with my Bebop figure, where as you can see, you have to kind of do some interesting things in order for him to kind of at least stand up. At least with him, you don't have that much trouble because of how his body structure is with the nose and the nice big boots. Well, he just got his little sneakers here. And just to show you how they both look in comparison, Kind of makes you guys wonder how come I didn't review both of them in the same video, but it's a consistency thing. If I'm being honest, I couldn't really help it. I had to kind of do him by himself to kind of give like one figure its nice little spot, because now we could talk about the sculpts. And well, actually no, not well. We already went. Sorry, my mind is all over the place. Not the skull. I mean the paint. I mean, I guess we could talk more about the head, because oh wow, if there's, I don't know, something negative I have to say, the head is like, I don't know, I don't really trust it, because it's like, it's pretty obvious that you got like a weird stick thing kind of like holding out to his head. His head just wobbles. Let me see, I'm gonna be quiet for a bit so you can hear it. Actually, wait, hold up, there's a car passing by. Hold up, okay. Like that cannot be on purpose. Like what happened, you know? I mean, I don't know if it's not supposed to do that. I don't know. For the most part, from what I've seen from a lot of reviews, that's kind of how he is, you know? So okay, but at least they gave him some point of articulations instead of none around the head. I mean, okay, fine, you gotta at least have that to appreciate, and it doesn't hurt the figure. It's just so weird having like this kind of like space, you know what I mean? It just looks weird. And then when he moves it, it just kind of breaks the mold. But just look how weird that is. Oh boy, that looks kind of painful. That's just weird. Let me talk a little bit more about the paint. I know I've been on it for quite a long time, so for the most part, paint's actually perfect. It's good, except for one thing. They did the same thing with Bebop with the chain around his pants where it was unpainted. He also has a chain on his neck, but it is not painted at all. In fact, I don't really know if it's like, I don't know where the chain starts and like where it goes. Because it looks like it just kind of goes like under his arms. I get that implication, but like it's really hard to say with how the sculpting is. It's almost like they just kind of slapped it on there just because, but I don't know. It looks odd and it's unpainted, which is kind of an eyesore if I'm being honest. And like I say, with the sculpt, I don't know exactly where it's supposed to begin and where it kind of ends, because it doesn't really look like that the chain really continues. It just kind of looks like it goes underneath, but it is what it is. And of course, you know, you got like this nice little sort of yellowish, like ivory yellow kind of shirt going on, which is nice. Reminds me of a specific Rocksteady variant, which I will show you guys towards the end. And then, you know, got the brown pants, the camouflage. All in all, it's pretty good. So let's kind of go over the accessories before it gets kind of later than that. And let's take a look. So here he is. He comes with 6 accessories. So of course you got, of course, the little training kind of battle rack thing. He got 2 guns. I'm assuming that they're like some sort of weird machine guns, especially this one. This is supposed to be kind of like his main one. He got a hammer, which, if I'm being honest, that's a very Rocksteady thing for him to have, and I really like that he comes with one. Same goes for the 2016 Rocksteady movie figure. He also did come with a hammer, so I do like that they did that. He does come with a knife, which, I mean, it's pretty small. I don't know what you're really gonna do with that, considering that he's kind of a big guy, but okay, it is what it is. And of course, he comes just like Bebop with a shield, but it's a manhole cover, a really tiny one, but we'll go over that in a bit. I think you guys kind of already know how I feel about that, so I'm just gonna kind of sit my camera down a little bit, and don't worry, I just dropped poor Bebop. So let's kind of go over the accessories. So real quickly, you're probably wondering about the rack he comes with. How do I know that this is actually his? Well, if you kind of take a look, you can see how very tiny it is. It's like, wow, it's definitely the smallest one out of everyone else's, which is ironic. And in case you don't believe me, here's proof. Here's some of the other racks that you get from some of the other figures. You can see how tall they are in comparison. And some of them, they do kind of sort of vary in size and width, you know? So just to kind of give you an idea, see how that is. That's kind of how I know that that's his, because it's very tiny, and obviously with how big he is, you know? And then, of course, you see how skinny Superflies is, you know? So you kind of got that kind of going on. Just to kind of give you a good idea as to the size comparison. And then, of course, as a little bonus, I might as well also show you a classic one as well. Some of the older racks that came with the old Turtle figures. So there you go. So I'm going to get these out of the way because I want to get to his actual good accessories right there. So we got his, I'm assuming it's a machine gun. I mean, it looks really nice. This is like his main weapon. I love how the implication is that he's supposed to hold it with two hands, but he can only use one. And then of course he got that little thing where he's supposed to like kind of lay down and then shoot, but obviously he can't really do that with his ginormous snout. But okay, we could put it right on this hand, and it looks okay. It looks cool. I mean, I like it better than Bebop's, 100%. At least he can actually look, like shoot. He's like, he could do that. And I love that he comes with two. This is his other one that he comes with. I do like this one a lot, which is great. I mean, I'm assuming it's supposed to be some sort of like weird, like super futuristic assault rifle or something. I have no idea. I love how it kind of has like a weird lining thing. I don't know if that's the implication that, some bullets supposed to come out. I don't know. But that's pretty good for the imagination. I don't know if he actually uses this in the movie. I still, as of now, as of this recording, I have not seen the movie. I think it should be on DVD and Blu-ray by now as of this review. But he does look really, really nice with two of them in his hands. That I like a lot. And the best thing is that if you could kind of toy around with it just a little bit, you could definitely get like a, how do I say it? You see how perfect that looks? He could look straight and he could like fire, and like with how his feet is, you could definitely get like a, you know what I mean? Like he's firing at you type of thing, which I do like a lot. And it definitely helps a lot with like how weird and stubby he looks. I feel like it kind of completes it a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense. He kind of got like a turret thing kind of going on. It makes sense for a character like him, especially with his hammer. I really do like the hammer a lot. So I was debating on whether if I want to pose him with the two guns or one gun and a hammer. That looks very weird. I'm gonna assume that this is the part where he's supposed to smash your head with it. I don't know. Judging by the texture, it might be like a wooden kind of handle thing going on. Maybe. It's kind of hard to really say for sure because it's just one solid gray color. So of course, I don't know if you wanted to. I guess you could kind of pose them, at least with it. Admittedly, it does look maybe a little bit funky on his hands. A little bit. He's holding it perfectly fine, but obviously if I try to fix it up a little bit, it won't go in the hand completely unless I push it and kind of toy around with it. And then there you go, if it's perfect. I was even thinking if I buy the 2 packs, from the battle damage figures, maybe I could pose them with the hammer and stuff. But I think as of now, they're no longer in Walmart stores because they are Walmart exclusives. So, oh well, which is unfortunate because I know that they were in my toy hunts before in the past. Real quick thing I do want to mention with the thing with his hand. I do love that they kind of put in some sort of space where he could grab onto it real nicely. It definitely reminds me a lot of like the Marvel Legends Thor or the Ragnarok Thor figure. For those of you who don't know what I mean by that, I'm talking about this figure in particular where in his hand there is like a certain way that you're supposed to fit the hammers and all that. So I like that contrast between both of the figures. So I think that's nice, even though I don't think that's on purpose. But it is what it is. So I think that was at least a neat touch that they did. So of course then he got his knife, which I mean again I don't really know what you're gonna do with it. I mean it's like I don't know. I mean, I guess if you want to pose him, I don't know. Maybe he's gonna. No, it doesn't work. I think it's safe to say it's the worst accessory. You know what else is the worst accessory? This sad excuse of a shield. I mean, first of all, it's tiny. I can't really see him really defending himself with it. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't really hold on to it that well either. You had to toy around with it. You got to move it and stuff, and it's like, I don't know. It feels very weird. I wouldn't really use it. No. Yeah. So already, I don't like it. So, honestly, either pose them with the hammer or the guns, because that's, I don't know. I don't blame Playmates, obviously. I get it. There's not enough room to really fit, like, better accessories. I get it, but that's just my personal take, so don't take it the wrong way. Okay, so I'm just gonna pose them with the guns, and then we're gonna do the epic comparison. And yes, I say epic because, well, with the comparison time, and here he is next to the classic 80s Bebop. I mean Rocksteady. Guys, I didn't get enough sleep, okay? I am very sorry. I'm making a lot of mistakes today. So yeah, if this is the classic Rocksteady figure. This is the reissue because he does have some missing paint kind of going on in certain areas, but he's definitely a lot more better than Bebop, at least in my opinion. You see, he got the same thing. He got the gun, he got the shield, which is a lot more better. The little manhole cover, so that's great. And you can see like how the colors are. You see the brown pants. You see the nice little. They're not exactly the same, but close enough. So that's good. I like that. So that's good. Both figures are very good. And yeah, that just shows how really, really, really tiny he is. Like, wow. But it's all good. It's okay. So then here he is, of course, with the movie Rocksteady from the 2016 Out of Shadows film. So you can see he got like this weird kind of gangster type of motif kind of going on. I don't think this particular version is meant to be like a military type guy, unlike some of the other versions. And then of course you can see sort of the wow differences. I mean, huge differences, of course. Obviously, super weird. And then of course he got the nice hammer. Of course, not the exact same, but I do like that implication that they put it with this figure. Whose hammer is better? I mean, I don't know, hard to say. I mean, I like both, so that's good. So you got that, and he got the little club. He's all, that's very cool. And I'm gonna put him right over here because I actually do have two more Rocksteadies I gotta show you guys. So here he is. Compare up. No, don't do that. Don't do that. The Rocksteady from the Nickelodeon 2012 series, and of course this one, obviously with this incarnation, he's like a Russian guy basically. So what I want to point out too, he got like the little like that symbol. I feel like that there's like a name for it. I'm not too sure. Like with the hammer and the sickle thing going on, he got it in like both arms. He got the sickle and then he got the hammer. And of course, that's kind of like his thing. Looks really, really nice. So that's where I wanted to kind of, do the comparison. I'm not sure that was on purpose. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be just like a long string of hair. I don't think it's supposed to resemble anything, but I still kind of point that out. Don't you just love that so far all these figures got camouflage pants? Well, I got one more surprise for you because here are two of these Rocksteadies compared with the 80s costume Rocksteady. So yeah, there you go. Look at that. So look, see how incredible this looks with the comparison? And the reason why I wanted to do comparison with these two is because obviously with the shirt and all that, I mean, it's not the exact same obviously, but you get the point, and then you got the big boots, you could kind of see where I'm getting at. This version of Rocksteady is based on like during the final season of the 2012 show. I think it was the final episode, but I'm not too sure. Where the turtles travel to a different dimension where it's the 80s turtles, and then on top of that, this Rocksteady and then the other Bebop, they both traveled to that other dimension, and then they dressed up as like their classic 80s counterpart. Yeah. So it's obviously supposed to be meant more in line with these guys, but obviously the original toys were not really accurate to the shows back in those days, so you kind of get the idea. I don't want to cause any sort of confusion, but that just kind of shows you just how weird and wacky some of these figures are. So here are the figures in like year order, in the proper order that they're supposed to be in, just to kind of give you guys a good idea. They do look really, really nice together. And I do have a couple more Rocksteadies, but just to kind of keep this review consistent, I'm only going to take a look at like the mainline ones. I don't want to take a look at the goofy variants just yet. Not yet. We will get to those. I will review these guys in the future. I just don't know when, because we definitely have a very, very, very long way to go with the Mutant Mayhem figures. So I know this video's gone on long enough. So one last final comparison. Here he is with the turtles, I mean, the sizing is not great. It's kind of the figure's downfall. I don't want to give it a negative review though. A point. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't know. The figure is nice. Like I say, I'd rather have a figure that has a good sculpt than to, I don't know, than to give it like a proper size and then mess up with some things. You know what I mean? That sounds weird, but I think you guys know what I mean. I'm weird like that, and I'm very tired. There he is. So alright, so final verdict. I would give him maybe like a 9 out of 10. I would say. I want to give him a perfect score, but again, yeah, I know that the design is so weird. Some of the choices that they did put on him, a little bit off-putting. I know with the head, it's a little bit hard to kind of convey, you know. And I mean, the weapon choices are better than Bebop's, but you know, it's okay. It's accessories. I much prefer the guns and the hammer than anything else, so I think that's fine. You know, and you know, one last thing I forgot to mention with the legs too. They look so weird. It looks like the articulation kind of blends in with the sculpt, so you probably wouldn't even know you're supposed to bend them. Looks pretty interesting, you know. He does look really cool though. Don't get me wrong. I definitely like this figure a lot more than Bebop. A lot more, if I'm being honest with you. And I really do mean that. Kind of makes me want to get the battle damage version, but unfortunately, if you do, it's just the exact same figure, just with some differences, but not much. So here he is. There they are. Both the big bads. There you go. Nice. They look really cool together, by the way. I'm so happy he's in this movie. And of course, I guess as a bonus, not really, Ultraman Jack. I don't know, because that was the last toy I reviewed. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. So the next toy review is going to be an Ultraman figure for the most part. And then after that, we're going to take a look at Leatherhead, you know, because we're not done with this toy line yet. So until then, thank you guys for watching. As always, leave a like and subscribe if you want, you know, for some more. And that's about it. See ya.